Hey students, welcome back to BBA Simplified by Dr. Vinky Sharma. In continuation to our marathon class of business organization and ethics, we will be talking about forms of business organization today. That is our third unit. So in this unit, we explore one of the most important fundamentals of the business world, which is nothing but forms of business organization. Every business, whether small or large, it needs a proper structure to operate. The form you choose determine ownership, control, liability, taxation, management style, and even the future growth of the business. So in session, we will understand the different forms of business organization and their features, advantages, limitations, as well as suitability. So let's begin by understanding the meaning of business organization. A business organization refers to the legal and structural framework within which a business operates. So it defines how a business is owned, managed, and controlled. So in simple words, we can say that it is answering three questions. First is who owns the business, the ownership maybe, who manages it, and who bears the risk. So choosing the right form of organizations depends on the capital needs, the risk levels, the managerial abilities, and the growth plans. The common form includes sole proprietorship, partnership, joint Hindu family businesses, cooperative societies, and joint stock companies. When we talk about various factors that influence the choice of business organization, it includes certain bases. The very first basis is the ownership. So we here understand that does the owner want full control or is shared ownership acceptable? Then the second one is the liability, which explains that whether the owner is comfortable with unlimited personal liabilities or whether it prefers limited liabilities. The third one is the capital need or the capital requirement. We understand that large businesses, they need higher capital and therefore they require forms like companies. Then coming on to management style, that what type of style of management will it be requiring, and finally the legal requirements, laws, and other formalities. For example, some forms are easy to create but others require strict legal compliances. These factors help decide the most suitable structure for any business. Now let's understand what is the meaning of sole proprietorship. It is indeed the oldest and the simplest form of business organization. It refers to a business that is owned, controlled, and managed by one individual. There are certain key features that are included under sole proprietorship, but before that we also need to understand that this sole proprietorship is also called as one man business or the sole traders. For example, when we look at these local shops or small retailers, maybe tutors, freelancers, beauty parlors, they all are the examples of sole proprietorship because there is only one person who is running the entire show. Coming on to the features of sole proprietorship, we understand that in case of sole proprietorship, there is always a single ownership. The formation is easy here. The liability is borne in the unlimited way. There is full control of the entire business on only the proprietor, and he is the only decision maker. There is no separate legal entity in this case. The capital, since it is a small business generally, so the capital requirements are limited, and it runs with the help of personal contacts with the customers. So this form is actually ideal for small businesses like retail shops, bakeries, tailors, saloons, and some small service providers. Now let's understand various advantages and limitations of sole proprietorship. Starting with advantages, we say that in case of sole proprietorship, the decisions are quick. Why? Because owner has full control over any decision that is to be made. Next is confidentiality of the business, because there is only one person who is handling everything, so the confidentiality of the business is maintained. Then the next is direct motivation. Why? Because the business owner keeps all the profit, so he is every time getting the motivation of earning the profit. Then next is flexibility and easy to wind up, because there are no legal formalities as such, so and also it can easily adapt to the changes. Therefore there is full flexibility and it is also easy to wind up. The business runs on the basis of the personal contacts and customer relationships, because that leads to better satisfaction. But of course there are certain limitations of sole proprietorship. One, that it has limited financial resources. The capital is limited, owner's personal funds restrict the growth. Then we say that there is unlimited personal liability, because personal assets may be used to pay the business debts. There is limited managerial expertise, because there is only one person and he cannot handle all the functions. Also, in case of sole proprietorship, it is observed that there is instability. Why? Because it depends on the owner's life also. Then we say that it is not suitable for large scale operations. So despite these limitations, sole proprietorship is still the largest form of business in India. Why? Because of its simplicity. The next form of business is called partnership. So a partnership is actually an association of two or more persons who agree to share the profit of a lawful business that is carried on by all or any one acting member who is performing for everyone. There could also be up to 50 as per the Companies Act 2013. So this is the maximum limit to form a partnership. It is governed by Indian Partnership Act 1932. Now let's look at the features of partnership. We say that there could be two or more persons, wherein minimum is 2 and maximum is 50 partners as per the Companies Act. Second is the agreement based, which could be oral or written partnership deed. Next is profit sharing. This profit sharing is actually agreed upon in this agreement or the written deed. So the ratio is defined, that how much ratio of profit will be shared among each partners. It is also called as a mutual agency, because each partner acts as an agent and principal to each other. There is unlimited liability. Partners are fully responsible for the business debts. There is no separate legal entity, because partners are fully responsible for all the work that they are doing. And the partners and firm are considered as same in the law. Then the combined capital and skills. The skills of all the partners are used, and the capital used is also a combined capital. Partnerships are common in businesses requiring shared finance and skills, like accounting firms, law firms, medical clinics, and some small manufacturing units also. Having understood the meaning of partnership and its key feature, now we'll understand that what are the types of partnership. The first type is the general partnership. It is the most common form of partnership. In this type, all the partners have unlimited liability, which means they are personally responsible for the debts of the firm. Each partner can take part in management, and every partner actions bind the entire firm. This form is suitable for small and medium businesses where trust and active involvement of partners are essential. The second is the limited partnership. In this case, the liability of some partners is limited to the amount of capital they have invested in the firm. However, there must be at least one general partner who have unlimited liability. So, limited partners do not participate in the day-to-day management, but they contribute capital and they share the profits. This type of partnership helps raise larger funds while reducing the risk for certain partners. The third type of partnership is a partnership at will. It is formed without any fixed duration or specific objective mentioned in the partnership agreement. So, because there is no predetermined time limit, the partnership can be dissolved at any time when a partner gives notice to the other. This form provides flexibility and is ideal for businesses that want full freedom to continue or dissolve as needed. And the fourth type of partnership is a particular partnership which is created for a specific project or maybe a task or a venture, such as let's say constructing a building, organizing an event, or completing a consignment. Once the objective is achieved or the project is completed, the partnership automatically comes to an end, and this type is useful when partners collaborate temporarily for a single business activity only. Now let's understand the types of partners. We see that in a partnership firm, not all the partners play the same roles. So, partnership law recognizes several types of partners depending on their involvement, liability, and contribution. For example, there is active or a working partner. He is the one who actively participates in day-to-day management and operations. In case of sleeping or dormant partners, they invest capital but it does not take part in daily management. Then when we talk about nominal partners, they lends his name to the firm but does not contribute capital or participate in the business. They are only giving their names to use. Then is minors. This is made only for benefit purpose. They are admitted only to the benefits of the partnership, shares profits but has limited liability. And next one is the sub partners. The sub partners are that there is one main partner and then there is another sub partner who is also associated for limited liabilities and limited benefits. So understanding partners type is important. Why? Because it directly affects the rights, duties and liabilities for each of the partner. Partnership offers several advantages and making them ideal for medium-sized businesses. So some of the common advantages are, first, that there is a greater capital resources as compared to sole proprietorship. Since multiple partners contribute, so financial strength increases. Then next is that there is a better decision making because ideas are discussed collectively, so reducing the risk of poor judgment. Then is sharing of risk, again because there are number of partners, so the risk is shared among all the partners. It is simple and flexible structure. Partners can easily modify the operations, the profit sharing and the responsibilities. Also there is specializations through partners skills, so we do have a combined skill sets. Partners, they bring different expertise. For example, somebody could have expertise in finance, somebody in marketing, maybe HR, operations, etc. So we have a combination of skill sets here. Then, despite of its benefits, partnership also has certain limitations. First is conflict among the partners. So there is definitely a possibility of conflicts, differences in opinions, the personality clashes or unequal effort may create the disputes. Then there is unlimited liability. So partners, their personal asset may be used to pay the business debts. Next is instability due to death or retirement, which leads to dissolving the firm. Then there is limited capital, although more than sole proprietorship, but yet capital is still restricted to the partner's contribution. And then finally we say that there could be some slow decision making. Why? Because it may happen that one or the other partner may not agree to one or more decisions. Now let's understand what is joint stock company. A joint stock company is a voluntary association of individuals who come together to carry out business activities with a shared objective, and which is usually to earn profit. It is created under the Companies Act 2013, and once incorporated it becomes a separate legal entity. So it is different from its owners, which is known as the shareholders. A company can own a property, enter contracts, borrow money, or even sue or be sued in its own name. The most important feature is that the ownership is divided into shares, and people who buy these shares, they become the shareholders. Therefore, their liability is limited only to the value of the shares they own. This structure allows companies to raise large amount of capital and operate on a large scale. For example, TCS, Infosys, Reliance, maybe HDFC Bank, they all come under the category of joint stock company. There are certain features that we need to understand. First, that it is a separate legal entity, which means that a company has an identity of its own and it is independent from its owners. It can own its own property, can enter into contracts, and even if shareholders change, the company still remains unaffected. Next is the perpetual succession, which means that the company continues forever, regardless of the death, insolvency, or retirement of the shareholders. Ownership may change, but the company remains the same. Then it has limited liability, because shareholders' liability is limited to only the amount of the shares that they have, right? The unpaid, which is unpaid on their shares. So this means the personal property of the shareholders, that cannot be used to pay the company's debts. This feature encourages the public investment. Then the next feature is transferability of shares. In public companies, shares can be freely bought and sold in the stock market, and this provides liquidity and attracts more investors. Next, we say that it is a large capital base, because we are asking the amount from the public. So a company can raise huge capital by issuing its shares, debentures, and other financial instruments. This allows companies to understand large, complex, and nationwide or maybe global operations. The management is more professional here, because they have to manage the shares, the dividends, and all the legalities. Also, the another feature is common seal, which is now optional, which means that earlier companies used a common seal to sign the document. But now, as per the Companies Act 2013, a company can authorize officers to sign the document on its behalf. So this symbolizes the company's official approval. Now let's understand the types of companies. Companies can be classified into various categories based on their ownership, membership, and purpose. The first one is the private company, which has minimum 2 and maximum 200 members. A private company restricts the transfers of shares and it limits the membership to maximum 200 members. It cannot invite the public to subscribe to the shares. Next is the public company. A public company needs minimum 7 members and there is no upper limit. It can freely invite the public to buy the shares. Next is one person company, or we also call it as OPC. This was introduced under the Companies Act 2013, and OPC allows a single person to form a company with limited liability, and it is suitable or ideal for small entrepreneurs. The next one is the government company. Here the government holds at least 51% of the share capital. For example, ONGC or maybe GAIL. These are the examples of government companies. And the last one is the foreign and global MNCs. These companies operate in multiple countries with global operations like Samsung, Amazon, Toyota. These types of companies, they allow the businesses to choose the legal structure that best suits to their scale and their expansion plans. Next is the advantages of joint stock company. A joint stock company offers several important advantages. For example, large scale operations due to its unlimited capital raising potential. Next is easy capital collection or easy mobilization of funds is possible through share issues and debentures. Then there is limited liability, which means that shareholders risk only their investment and not their personal properties. Then is the professional management with specialized departments for finance, marketing, HR, and operation. The next advantage is the stability and long life, because it is said that a company remains even if the shareholders die or they become insolvent. And finally, there is a legal recognition that allows the company to own the property, enter into the contracts, and sue or to be sued. So, because of these benefits, companies are the preferred form for large as well as growing businesses. Despite its strengths, a company structure also has some limitations. First is lengthy and expensive formation. So, due to its complexity and expensive formation, there are numerous legal formalities involved. Next is excessive government regulations. So, government interference and strict regulations. It also includes audits, disclosures, and compliance filing. The next is lack of secrecy, since financial information must be published, right? Then next one is separation of ownership and management, which means which may create a conflict. Then is the slow decision making because of the layers of hierarchy and the procedures. So therefore these limitations mean companies require strong government and administrative efficiencies. Next, we move on to understand that what is cooperative organization. A cooperative organization is a voluntary association that is formed to promote the welfare of the members. It is based on the principles of mutual help, service motivation, service motives, and democratic controls. These cooperatives, they aim not to maximize the profit but to provide services such as fair price, easy credit, or affordable housing. So the philosophy is that one member, one vote. This ensures equality among all the members. To understand it better, let's focus on the features of cooperatives. One is that there is a voluntary membership. Anyone can join or leave freely. There is a democratic control, one vote per member regardless of the capital. Next is the service objective or motive. Profit is secondary, members' welfare is primary. Then is limited liability, because members are liable only to the extent of their capital. There is equal voting rights of the members. Next is legal status, that is registered society. So it must be registered and it can own assets and enter the contracts. Then there is surplus distributed fairly. If there is any surpluses, they are shared among all the members. So these cooperatives play a major role in the rural as well as semi-urban India. We now talk about different types of cooperative societies. The first one is the consumer cooperatives. It provides essential goods to consumers at reasonable prices. Next is producer cooperative. It helps producers by supplying inputs and marketing their products. Then there are credit cooperatives. They offer financial assistance at low interest rates. There are housing cooperatives. They assist farmers and small businesses in selling their goods. They help members in acquiring the lands and houses. Then is marketing cooperative, that helps in selling the goods collectively. Next is the dairy cooperative, for example Amul. They manage procurement, processing and marketing of milk. It is this Amul, it is the considered as India's largest cooperative. So this each type of cooperative, they serve a specific social or economic purpose. Let's understand various advantages of cooperative society. We understand that it is easy to form because there are low registration requirements, there is low operating cost involved into it, there are limited liabilities that reduces the financial risk of the members, there is a democratic management, then governance, and it ensures equality. Then it also focuses on protection of the weaker section who lacks the bargaining power. So these advantages they make cooperative ideal for rural development programs. Moving on to the limitations of cooperative, we understand that there are limited resources for which they have to cooperate and run their cooperatives. Then there is lack of incentive due to service oriented nature. When we talk about government interference, then there is political interference, especially in agricultural cooperatives. There is inefficient management because qualified professionals may not join these cooperatives, and the decision making is slow due to the democratic procedures. So these limitations affect their efficiency but not their social importance. There is a comparative slide which shows a difference between sole proprietorship, partnership, and the company. This is one of the most important questions that generally comes in the examination. So on the basis of ownership, we say that in case of sole proprietorship, there is only one owner, partnership has minimum 2 and maximum 50, and in company there is no limit. When we talk about liability, in case of sole proprietorship, the liability is unlimited. Partnership also it is unlimited, but in case of company, the liability is limited because the debts cannot be paid with the personal property of the owners or the shareholders. Next is the continuity. The sole proprietorship, the continuity is low because in case of death or insolvency of the sole proprietorship ends. In case of partnership, it is medium, but in case of company, it is high because it is a separate identity altogether. When we talk about capital, it is the lowest capital in case of sole proprietorship, moderate in case of partnership, and highest in case of companies. And when we talk about legal status, there are no legal formalities as such in case of partnership as well. But when we talk about company, it is considered as a separate entity. So this comparison helps students to understand when each form is suitable. We'll now quickly summarize whatever we have learned in this unit. We've understood that what is sole proprietorship, its features, its merits and demerits. Then we understood another form of business, that is partnership, its type, the types of partners and the characteristics. We understood joint stock of company also as one of the form of business. We've understood its features, advantages and limitations. The another form of business is the cooperatives. We've understood its meaning, its benefits and limitation, and finally we did the comparison among all the business forms. I hope this unit is clear. These are the important exam questions that have been coming in the previous examinations, like explain the features, advantages and limitations of sole proprietorship. What is partnership? Describe its types, or maybe describe the types of partners. Define a company, discuss its characteristics. What are cooperatives? Explain their types. Compare partnership and company, or maybe write difference between the various business forms. Thank you so much for learning with BBA Simplified by Dr. Vinky Sharma. In the next unit, we will be covering Unit 4, which is on business ethics. Do like, share and subscribe for more marathon classes. Thank you so much for watching.